And I thought the plastic roller she used for her bangs made them look like a sausage. She thought I wore too much makeup, and I thought she didn't wear enough. She thought my pants were too tight, and I thought that all she ever wore for years were maternity clothes. Then we became closer, and I spent lots of weekends in Jamesburg. We always spent the day after Thanksgiving Christmas shopping all day and bought lots of presents. I remember we also always bought a little something for ourselves as a reward for our hard work. We also baked lots of Christmas cookies during those Thanksgiving weekends. And we sewed. Well, to be honest, I cut things out and Lenore did most of the sewing. I remember going home with many dresses, as these sewing sessions were usually very successful, but there was one that wasn't quite as successful as others. We made a jumpsuit for Lenore. A jumpsuit, for those of you not familiar with the word, is a giant onesie that little babies wear. I don't know what we were thinking, but for some reason we chose gold lame for the fabric. Lame is a shiny, slippery, stretchy material. The finished product was awful. For years I thought it never saw the outside of Lenore's sewing box, but Janet told me recently that Lenore actually sewed an American flag on the front, turned it into an astronaut's uniform, and wore it to a Halloween party with Joe. Would we all like to see a picture of that?
I would like to see that.
We've had many laughs over the years. I recall one vacation at the Tomlinson house where we stood in the dining room looking into the pass-through into the kitchen, singing the song Mr. Sandman. Since we probably had had a few adult beverages before our performance, it was probably very loud and off-key. If anyone is interested, I believe we could be persuaded to repeat our duet. I also remember both of us laughing hysterically once while we were playing gestures. Every time we looked at each other, we burst into maniacal, out-of-control laughter. I don't think we even knew what we were laughing about, but we were powerless to stop. Again, I'm sure adult beverages were involved. Lenore is the best cook I know. Among all the wonderful things she's made, I can remember great sweet potato pie, melting pot chicken, and even some flowers that she got off the side of the road that she battered and then fried. They were delicious. She also made the best scrambled eggs and green peppers, the skinny Italian kind. Her flank steak marinade is the best, and I can't forget to mention the apple cake, which was Uncle Bob's favorite. When I was in Florida several years ago, she threw together the world's best breakfast: baked eggs, asparagus, and Parmesan cheese. And another time, tilapia cooked in soy vase sauce served over different kinds of lettuce. I think it was a recipe she got from Joey, who had made it with chicken. It was so delicious that we went to Publix the next day, and I bought a bottle to bring home with me. Lenore wrapped it up and put it in my carry-on before we left for the airport. Much to my surprise and embarrassment, when my bag was being checked, the woman told me, "Do not move from behind the barrier," and the light over my line started flashing. The supervisor arrived at the scene of the crime and tossed my expensive soy vase into the trash. My sister, who has traveled all over the world, forgot that the bottle should have been put in the check bag, not in my carry-on. Unfortunately, I didn't learn my lesson, as my hand lotion was removed from my pocketbook and tossed into the trash, returning home from this year's vacation. Thank you again, Sue, for replacing it for me. Back to Lenore's cooking. She also made great pasta with bolognese sauce about an hour before we had to leave for the airport. Where I obsess over every ingredient and step and hesitate to deviate from a recipe, Lenore just throws everything together and makes it look effortless. I can't leave the subject of cooking without mentioning the butternut pound cake. Lenore and I share a secret about this cake which we will never reveal. Don't bother with any threats of sticking toothpicks under our fingernails until we talk. Our lips are sealed forever. I'm sure we all agree that not only is Lenore a great cook, she also looks great. How is it possible that in recent years she has had unexpected appendix and heart surgeries, and also knee surgery that she said was harder recuperating from than the heart surgery, and yet she looks great? Must be the good life she shares with her wonderful husband of I forget how many years, her amazing children and their spouses, and of course all those beautiful grandchildren. She and I are all that's left of our original family of 5, and I'm very thankful to have her still here with me. I'm also thankful to her for having all of you guys who had all of your children. Being an Aunt Wonderful is a very good thing. I read somewhere that out of all the people we know in our lives, a sibling connection often is the longest when compared to how long we're with our parents, spouse, and even children. Siblings are there from the very beginning. Just ask Lenore, and she'll tell you how she pushed me around in my carriage and then taught me how to walk. Hopefully she'll be here for many more years. I'm perfectly happy being number 2. In conclusion, I bet you thought there was never going to be one. I'd like to read a little something that says what I'd like to say, but Blue Mountain Arts does it much better. Aww. Hey, sister, though I may not always say it with exactly the right words or even out loud, I want you to know it makes me feel good and very proud to have a sister like you. You know where I come from because you do too, and no matter what happens in this world, I will always be there for you. You've been my friend right from the start. You've got a unique place in my life, days, and heart. Even if we fuss or fight, I know it will be all right. Where I come from, you do too. You're amazing. You're my amazing sister, and I love you.
Yeah, Nancy, that was beautiful. Oh my God, that was so cute.
Well, I ran it past Jennifer, and she laughed, and I said,